Belichick's current team, well, they're only 1-2. The Bucs are favored on the road by 7 points, according to Fox Bet Sportsbook. Ooh, sounds like a good bet. So, Sal.
Like that, MVP.
Bill Belichick's legacy on the line on Sunday.
On the line? Hell no. Oh, here we go. This is ignorant of anyone to think that Bill Belichick, the great, the GOAT of all head coaches, has his legacy on the line in week 4 in the NFL season. Like, think about, what's the point of accomplishing anything in life if they're going to make it so trivial for you to lose it, for them to question it? What is the point of winning championships? I thought once you put it in the books, you can't take it back. But now his legacy is on the line in conversation. Y'all are silly. And what is legacy? You know, I've kind of come to my own version of what legacy is. It's basically what other people think of you when you're done or dead, right? Basically, that's what I am. You know I don't give a damn about either one of those. But let's talk for Bill Belichick and why he shouldn't care. Because it's about what other people think of you. Who are these other people? What coach can even look at Bill Belichick way up there and say, come back down here? There's not a single one of these coaches that has ever accomplished what he has. He has no peers. So if he goes into a courtroom trying to be judged by a jury of his peers, no one's in the courtroom because no other coach comes close. You can go to Chuck Noll, he has 4 rings. You go to Joe Gibbs, he has 3 rings. You go to Bill Walsh, 3 rings. These are insane Hall of Fame coaches, and he's doubling a Bill Walsh. Come on, man. There are great coaches that have never even won a Super Bowl championship, not one. Marv Levy, who I played for my rookie year, tremendous coach. Dare someone to say something bad about Marv Levy in terms of his coaching prowess around the NFL circle. See how far you get. Marv Levy didn't win 1 Super Bowl. Belichick got 6 of them things. And now in week 4, going against Tom Brady, who he helped make, is now going to put his legacy on the line. Some people call that ignorant. Where I'm from, we call it ignorant. Mad at you, right?
I love your fire takes when you just dropped the mic. I do agree.
You agree?
I agree.
Why do I always get amped up and think I got to fight?
No, I agree.
Trey and Boys in the Hood.
I agree in totality. Bill Belichick's legacy is not on the line on Sunday.
Yes.
And the reason his legacy is not on the line on Sunday is because you can never take back those 6 rings that Bill Belichick has as a head coach. Can't take back the 2 rings he has as a defensive coordinator. His legacy in totality is not on the line at all on Sunday. Where I think his legacy may be marred is from a micro perspective. The macro perspective of Bill Belichick's legacy can't be touched. But from the micro perspective of how did Bill Belichick contribute, that's where he can be touched. Let me look at it like this. Kevin Durant's legacy can never be touched. One of the greatest scorers of all time.
Yes.
His legacy in totality will never be blemished. However, when you start to look at the micro, wait a second. He had to go to Golden State to win his rings. Wait a second. He ain't won a ring without an NBA MVP. Wait a second. All of a sudden, now his legacy from the micro perspective, it can be tainted. Nobody remembers that Phil Jackson retired after getting swept in the semifinals by the Mavericks. We remember Phil Jackson won 6 with the Bulls. He won 5 with the Lakers. That's Phil Jackson's legacy. But in the micro moments, or if you're a Mavericks fan, you remember, oh, yeah, Dirk Nowitzki forced Phil Jackson into retirement. When I look at Bill Belichick's legacy from the micro perspective, we don't have any bad memories of Bill Belichick. If we do, they all end in gate. Any negative memory you have of Bill Belichick, it ends in gate. Well, this one might end in Brady. And that's the difference. So in totality, you're absolutely right. Bill Belichick's legacy, it cannot be touched by this loss. However, when we start to parse out, like, wait a second, yes, Bill Belichick has 6 rings, but Tom Brady's the reason he has those 6 rings. That is where his legacy may be affected.
Tom Brady's the reason? Early Tom Brady, 58% completion percentage, the reason they won a championship. First 5 playoff games, this is what he averaged. Tom Brady's the reason, 5 yards an attempt. Tom Brady's the reason, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions in 5 games. Tom Brady's the reason, 76 passer rating. Tom Brady's the reason we 10-6 in the playoffs when you throw for under 80 passer rating. Woo! Interesting reason. Who was Phil Jackson without MJ and Kobe? Anybody?
Who were they without him?
That's the beauty. So we ain't gonna rob either one.
Tom Brady
Nobody's
is
legacy
still a
on the
Super
line.
Bowl champion without Bill Belichick.
And Bill Belichick is too.
Not as a head coach.
He didn't ask to be
as a head coach.
He didn't ask to be as a head coach. And guess what? He gonna coach longer than Tom Brady gonna play if he wants to. You already know that. So let's get into that conversation because he coached before Tom Brady. Walked in with 2. Greatest defensive mind ever. Brady and him get 6. Brady gets 1 without him. Brady, you want to play to 50? You better. Because Belichick's like, I'm going to coach to 90. It doesn't matter. Don't you do that. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to interrupt me because I'm on the road. You like to use these words lately. I don't know what thesaurus you got out this week, but totality, macro and micro. And I'm not feeling that. I want the old Acho back. I like the old Kanye. I like the old Acho. These new words, because it's allowing you to wiggle into a role that I don't really feel. Let's go into this. What was Michael Jordan's legacy, and was his legacy on the line when he was with Washington? You can say in a moment, some people were questioning it. Was it in game 37 of 2000 season? But then if you look back, you can't touch his legacy. What about Joe Montana when he was in Kansas City and it was AFC Championship game? Was his legacy on the line? Basically, when your legacy is on the line is when you're making a legacy. The only people whose legacy on the line are people who don't have a legacy. Yeah, people like me. I ain't got no legacy. My legacy on the line every day. Try to get a legacy, damn it. People who already have done it, their legacies are never on the line because, as you even agreed, you can't take it back.
You can't, but Sel, we can't ignore the moment. We can't ignore the moment for the totality of it all. Here's the moment. I had to go back and do some research. Remember, Iron Mike could not be touched.
What you mean, remember? I watched it. Yes,
exactly. You
yes.
Through it.
I lived it.
I had to go back as a historian. Couldn't be touched.
Hell no.
But then in Tokyo one day, he falls to Buster Douglas in the 10th round.
Controversy, too. He knocked Buster out first. But okay.
But he falls to Buster Douglas in the 10th round, dazed and confused, toying with his mouthpiece, trying to climb up off the canvas. And that day, in that moment, Iron Mike was no longer right after perceived as a man who was untouchable. Iron Mike was no longer perceived as a man who could not be beaten. Iron Mike was no longer perceived as a man who intimidated all of his opponents. Because in that moment, it was like, oh, wait, Iron Mike, you human, big dog. You can catch an L. You ain't gonna catch an L from me, but you can catch an L from somebody. Don't make me call Buster Douglas. If we would have been around on Twitter, those are the jokes he would have got. I'm gonna call Buster on you. So with that being said, we still look at Mike Tyson right now as just a monster. We still do, because the totality of his legacy was not at all affected. But in that moment, after getting knocked out, Buster Douglas, 10th round, Iron Mike's legacy was affected in the same manner.
I like this.
If Tom Brady goes out there and molly-whops Bill Belichick, beats him by 21, 17, a 28 piece, even a 14 piece, something like that. In that moment, we're going to be looking at Bill Belichick like, you're no longer untouchable. Because Tom Brady not only touched you up, he knocked you out, big dog. And that is what I'm talking about. In the moment, Bill Belichick's legacy is on the line. In totality, no, sir, legacy can't be touched.
Hold on, big dog. I'm not even going to let you get away with that one because it was poetic, but I could poke holes in it. Let's poke holes in this poet over here. One loss for Mike Tyson didn't ruin it for him. Like, the greatest boxers of all time, we still regard highly and have their legacies intact, despite losses. Sugar Ray Robinson, everybody tells me, now, this is me going back in history, have to look back at the old tapes of Sugar Ray Robinson, he's the greatest ever. And I was like, well, he lost before and had a couple draws. Oh, but it didn't matter because his legacy was intact. Muhammad Ali, 5 losses, they say. Muhammad Ali, still the greatest ever, greatest of all time. Muhammad Ali, 5 losses. It's not the losses, it's the fact of the gains, the wins, Thriller Manila, stuff like that. Belichick got 6, man. We could go up there and say Tomlin. Okay, check. We can go up there and say Pete Carroll. And then we could go say, go grab 4 more Super Bowl head coaches. And then put them next to Bill Belichick. And Belichick said, y'all still ain't surpassed me yet. Look at these, Dungy, look at these names, man. It's insane what he's accomplished. You really think that we should use a week 4, which to me in totality, using your thesaurus, is trivial compared to all of the 20-plus years of greatness. He walked in as a head coach as a great defensive mind. Won 6 rings after that. You think we're going to put all that on the ledge for week 4,
We're not. So
2021?
here's the thing. I am saying you are accurate.
Okay.
I am just saying you are incomplete. That's all I'm saying.
think?
Like, I am agreeing with you. I am saying yes and. You're saying yes, but. I'm saying yes, his legacy cannot be marred in totality, right? Like, I'm adding the aspect of, hey, I agree with you, big dog. Big picture can't be touched. But in the moment, it can be touched. Tyson's legacy in the moment, and you lived through it. You would have been probably 12 or so in the moment. Like, in that time scale, you no longer looked at Tyson as like untouchable because he was no longer untouchable.
The invincibility went away. You're right. Look, how many Emmys I got? Okay, that many. How many you got?
2 of them.
2 and counting. Can somebody come up to you because you had a bad show? Can somebody come up to you and be like, Emmy, nah, he ain't no Emmy.
Let me ask you this. If I put out an episode or a TV show or a series that flopped.
You have already.
I do think people could look at me and be like, he lost it.
Really?
Maybe he can get it back. But in that moment, he lost it.
Yeah. Okay, look, being real, people were looking at Jerry Rice at the end with the braids and the jeans and all, like he lost it. Even though he still was productive, they were saying, that ain't Jerry Rice. Talk about